How are we all? I'll wait for a few people to connect and then I will get started with the video. How is everyone going? Trying to get my cards ready. How are we all? I hope you guys can hear me. We got 1, 6. Gee, that's jumping. So what's happening with everyone? How is everyone's energy today? Are we feeling grounded? Hi, Michelle. How are you, love? Got an update for you guys. Hi. Might have to bring you guys a bit closer. There. So how's everyone's energy going? Are we keeping grounded? Are we coping with the energy? Do remember the first week will be quite light. I did talk to a girlfriend yesterday and she goes, oh, Hilda, I can feel it already. And I'm like, nah, this is the nice part of the month. But I'm wanting to talk about the aspect of manifestation, the twin flame journey, and different situations like that. Cool. Because a lot of us, I think the further into the journey you get, you actually realize the power of manifestation, but it's not even manifestation. Hi, Laurie, how are you? It's more, part of it is directly connected to your journey. Now, there's many lessons that come through within your own personal journey, and the cliche of it's divinely guided is actually so. The further on down the track you get, it is actually divinely guided. Some of it, you look at it after the fact, and that's through each snippet. The way you're going to deal with the energy is going to be key. So you've got to really almost look at the energy that comes through for you specifically and deal with that directly. That's really the key to it, because it's almost like your resume of what you're needing to tick off. And it's crucial that you actually do that. And that's for your spiritual growth. It's showing you where the blocks are so you can directly deal with them and start addressing them. They're almost like the recipe for the best possible cake you can ever make in your life, and that's about the only way I can describe it. I think you shortchange yourself if you do that, Laurie. I think because a lot of it, the adversity, if you can actually understand, a bit like Abraham Hicks. Hi, Dolly, how are you, doll? Think of the aspect of manifestation and then double track that back and look at the mirroring of twin flames, and then double track back and look at how every reaction has a reaction. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because when you do think of it, any fear-based situation you physically hold inside yourself, you're actually morphing that into a reality. So by you controlling the aspect of your mindset, you can actually control the 3D nature. Oh, thank you. You can control the 3D nature of what's going on outside of you. And the strange thing is, you know, when I put the new sign up on my website, and which I'm still updating the website, and on the Facebook page, it is a bit like the Matrix, right? So the way you've got to look at it is there could literally be a rainy day and how you could have the best possible day in the world. So try to overlook the external, which is the 3D, and try and find something that is coming out of it in a different way. If you're, our frequency is so conditioned to focus on the negative that it is a huge shift to actually get it to the place where you can physically come to a mindset where you realize the fears are almost like the devil card. Now, the devil card, when it comes up, it wreaks havoc, especially the Tower card, yet every ending is a new beginning. Again, it's like the glass half full, the glass half empty. It is, directly speaking, a direct mindset. Now, what is coming up for you guys to purge is absolutely crucial that you look at that. It does have something to do with the twin, but it has absolutely nothing to do with the twin, because when you look at it, it's what's blocking you from your personal union. So when they say do the work in the journey, some of it is, in a sense, you can't preempt it. You can't get there before your time, if you know what I'm saying. If you're learning these lessons and you're learning them quickly, you're generally going to have a really hard road, and that's because you're learning quicker than anticipated. Okay, so when you're coming to a place where you're thinking, gosh, why am I always covered in adversity? It's because you're actually fast tracking yourself theoretically. So if you wanted a notion of a fast track journey, those of you who are directly dealing with that, you're actually on the fast track, you're on the freeway. So how you directly relate to that is going to be crucial in your positive mindset connected to that. Now, if you're thinking X, Y, and Z in a negative front is going to happen, damn straight you're going to co-create that. So you need to be mindful. These old blocks are coming up. They're not there to tell you that the same scenario is going to transpire. They're there to tell you that you have not addressed that area, and you need to directly address that area, because it is spiritually, emotionally, and 3D wise blocking you from attaining anything that you're attempting to manifest. And because that seed that was planted, everything that's going back into that mind is then recreating that same similar cycle. So think of yourself as a rat in a cage, and you're choosing to get off that Ferris wheel. That you're going to do the work for you personally that is actually going to then tame that beast, and then the devil card is going to be removed, because that energy is that of what binds you, but it's what's going to free you as well. Hi Heidi, how are you? I'm well. Now, a lot of the synchronicities that people have been seeing lately are actually, you know, some people are seeing them and they're actually feeling that something's happening, and it is happening. There is a collective shift. But the way, it's almost like you need to think of the movie The Matrix, okay? So you need to get to a place where you don't get fooled by the triggers. Now, the triggers are there for you to resolve, but they're also there to put you back in an old mindset. So you need, it is a point where you need to come to a place where you realize, if you were in a game of chess, the game can only be played if there's a player. So how you directly make each move, hi Antonella, is directly what the cause and effect is going to be in this situation. If you choose to play a game, you will have a game played. If you choose to wear a mask, there will be a mask worn. You can only ever be in your true authenticity is when you face those fears and you directly deal with the adversity, and you come to a place naturally in that journey where some people are saying, I can't feel my twin, I've released, I don't care what they do. Now, it's not you don't directly care about the person, it's that you're starting to place yourself in a different frequency. Now, you can't just place yourself there. This is a natural thing that comes about, and it is the dissolving of the ego. So when you hear it, if you guys are further back in the journey and you're thinking, well, how do I do that? It's not natural. It's not that you forget. It's not that the connection is lost. It's that you come to a physical place in the journey that you're releasing it because you realize you had no control in the first place. But you were controlling was a negative manifestation. It was the manifestation of this situation that's going to happen to me. And, you know, some of the planets at the moment are, you know, are you victim or perpetrator? So it's really a change of mindset yet again, and getting to that place where you're realizing that, okay, well, what place do you want to put yourself in? You will be beaten down to the point where you will physically get to a stage where you're physically looking at your 3D life and saying, okay, this is what I need to do. I need to address my adversity inside, and you can physically do that yourself. Nobody can dig that wound out. You need to address the trigger point of what is coming up and remove it. By removing it, it's releasing the connection to it, because it's almost self-sabotaging talk. It's also mental blocks connected to that of what you're manifesting. So if you're tuning into every partner I've had is always going to cheat on me, then damn straight that's going to happen. But if your frequency has released that and you're owning your worth connected to it, you know that's never going to transpire again, because you've taken your power back. And even if it did, it's then directly not connected to you, which in theory it actually was never connected to you in the first place. It was ego that connected those dots. So again, that's the matrix. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when you actually realize that is something that they need to directly deal with, and it's got nothing to do with you whatsoever, you actually shift your frequency to that next level where you can come to a place where you're doing the work. Now, that whole notion of the work is anything that is coming up in your life, you personally healing. You'll have an hour where you are absolutely fantastic and another hour where you're purging and crying, and that's okay too. Now, Jen and I were talking the other day, and we did talk about the fact that in purging and healing, you know, if it's an old wound, if it has not been released and purged correctly, yes, you need to release that and you need to go through the energy of that. That can be, you know, thinking on it. It can be weeks where you're actually kind of trying to nut out in your mind what is going on, crying, maybe discussing with an external source, be it a reader or a friend, you know, a therapist, to remove that energy. But it will naturally come about. If you're blocked, yes, you're going to need to get help with that. Now, when I'm talking about that, there's also that aspect that if you've got a trigger point and you are directly working with twin, yes, you should only stay in that energy for no more than 5 minutes. You should acknowledge the trigger that came about, and then you should move beyond it and do the work connected to where that trigger point came from in the initial stage. And that will help free you in the cog of that wheel. So there are ways and means of doing the healing. So don't get caught up thinking, oh, I'm not evolved enough because I can't release that within 5 minutes. It's different wounds need different styles of healing. Some of it is where we had buried that energy so deep that it is coming up. And that is for many who have dealt with a lot of adversity, had to really dust themselves off and keep going on their life. So don't get too hard on yourself to the point where you're feeling that that's not so. Now, this month, a lot is changing. Now, this can mean, as I was saying before, people from the past coming back. Definitely speaking, if you are out of connection with a twin or you're in a karmic situation, be it feminine or masculine, you're really going to be assessing where you are in your current situation and deciding, be it good or bad, what you are actually going to do about that. And that is planetary related, you know, so that is what's really going on. What you come to a realization of in that meditation is going to give you the clarity on how to directly react. Although the ego connected to it is probably going to hold you back for about 2 to 3 weeks, because there's always that shadow period where, you know, although, you know, we do have that energy that we're feeling, if we've got a personal block, it's going to take a little bit longer. But a lot of it is divinely guided to a point where on your journey, you will purge certain cycles and you will move ahead at certain intervals. Masculine energies are starting to come through where they're physically seeing signs, having dreams. Their higher self is speaking to them. Now, this can be when you guys are physically getting downloads of their agitation being more so, and then it being very dull. You may get body ailments connected to what they're feeling in their ascension symptoms. Some of the ascension symptoms you guys will still be feeling, so to speak. This can be anything from nausea to aching bones, headaches, dizziness, ringing in the ears, you know, and it varies depending on the person and how, you know, how they're actually going through that with their ascension symptoms. It can also be where you almost feel like you've got the bends and you've come up out of the ocean a little bit too quick and it's really not feeling too natural. Many of us are actually feeling to the point where this energy is going to ease off as well. So be mindful of this. Almost to the point where you're feeling that your hair, but it feels surreal. And that's because things are changing and our perception has changed. So the energy is really coming to a place where it's the equilibrium's off. Okay, so the nausea and that's coming through for that. Definitely in your solar plexus, you'll have activations there. It might be like, you know, heartburn, so to speak, but it sort of feels like there is an aching connected to that. So be careful with the food groups that you're eating. And if you need to balance it, you know, drink a little bit of lemon water, and that's going to kind of balance the acid levels out in your stomach. Or drink some hot water out of the kettle, as my girlfriend Lauren does now. She used to say I was crazy. I'm like, sick tummy, go and drink some hot water from the kettle. Now, with these symptoms, a lot of it is making us feel a little bit off on top of where the planets are. So, you know, on top of your natural purging, the connection with your twin, spiritually, mentally, or in a 3D nature, these things will be challenging this month, but you need to be very mindful of your own energy and cross wires. And I know with Mercury retrograde, look, I'm already having issues with technology here and there, emails, etc., cross wires, but it's more, you're able to handle it if you're mindful of it and you're very careful about double checking, you know, everything and going back. It's almost like quality control time. So anything you're doing, make sure you go back and you quality control it, so that you can actually move through those situations. So I'll start shuffling the cards. Anyway, how is everyone? But you got to change your mindset. Like your mind, it's not, I can't say it's mind over matter, but if you could realize that you are twin, it is so. Everything that you're mentally thinking, you're morphing into a reality. Time frames can be shortened or extended. Although, in saying such, what the lessons that you're supposed to learn in each stage of the journey, that you cannot change. How you directly relate and react to those, yes, that can help the situation move faster, but it's a natural way of being. So some of these things you actually spiritually have to go through. Yeah, a lot of people are looking at things differently. It is in your head, but it's also 3D. So, you know, some of it is external. A lot of it is mental, in a sense of we create these energies because we are what we feel we deserve. And the lessons of those things be of the nature in the twin flame journey. Both parties would have had difficult childhoods. So they were energies and lessons we physically had to learn and purge through past lifetimes, including this lifetime. So now the more awareness you have of oneself as you spiritually grow, you actually understand. A lot of what happens with twin is a mirror. So you can't, and this is in society as well, not just within the twin flame journey. Any reaction has a reaction and there's a trigger point, but our shadow side will always morph outside of ourselves to show us what we're not dealing with or what we believe, so to speak. So our prejudice can come out of us. So you believing you can't have cash is directly a mindset. You believing you can't lose weight is directly a block and a mindset. Where that seed's planted can be very difficult to find sometimes. But when the trigger point comes up, that's healthy because it's actually helping you locate it. So that can be very crucial, you know, for you to actually find that location and do that work on that to free yourself, a bit like the Devil card. Does that make sense? A lot of manifestation as well. Somebody was asking me to do a manifestation video. Now, what you've got to understand is that when you're manifesting, you usually are thinking of the other side of receiving. It's not a difficult process. When you're putting too much effort into it, that's where the ego directly comes into it and it blocks it. So if you can physically say, choose your words correctly, choose your mind, If it's becoming difficult, do it in a medium way where you're physically seeing the best outcome. Timelines aren't real. Directly speaking, if you sit and meditate right now, you physically feeling it's going to be 10 years before you reach twin flame connection, that is a timeline you have manifested and created. If you feel it's going to take that long, that means you spiritually are not ready. So we can make it as long or as short as we feel. The manifestation aspect of you owning it is then co-creating that to come to fruition. Release the ego connected to the time frame, and that will come through. It is the codependency within the twin flame kind of journey that actually does block that, because you are feeling, due to your childhood, that control that you had to have of that environment and that dynamic and the emotions that came through, that those things were what kept you safe. But then further down, as you've grown, you've come to realize that those blocks have been what have been physically binding you to a point where you haven't been free. So within that, it's actually you had to have karmic lessons, so to speak, in your life through your twin, through other people, through situations. And it's almost like being smothered is the only way for you to own your power. So being bombarded with a particular energy is the only way you can free yourself from that energy. So if you have not removed that block, that situation will happen to a point where you break out of that shell and you're physically free. For you to realize the fact that you've had power, but you didn't know you had that. And it's about you owning self-love, self-power, to a point you can say, no, enough is enough. This frequency is not in alignment with now spiritually who I am. As long as you keep focusing back on self, you're actually 20 steps ahead. But to do the work isn't to pretend. It's not a fake facade. It's very much something that you spiritually own. And it's a realness within yourself. It's a belief within your own self that you can actually start spiritually moving forward. Definitely numbers have been coming up very heavily, probably in the last 2 weeks. I went to McDonald's, and it was like, I'd love to show you. And it said, your order number is 1111. And I'm like, what, the Golden Arches? And hey, I bought something low fat, but that's besides the point. It was soy cappuccino. But I'm just laughing at the fact that it was 111 and it said, your order number is. Okay, and that's because the mindset's changed. So the synchronicity between numbers is picking up a notch, okay? There's also, you will be starting to see it everywhere. It will be insane. Yes, you can. The names, the numbers, number plates, songs. Songs will directly come to you. And over probably the last 2 years, I have, like in celebrity state, seen certain individuals that may be twins. Now, Katy Perry, if you listen to her most recent album, a lot of these feminine energies that are coming through are really going through an awakening. But the funny thing is, usually people in the first wave will be a little bit further ahead mentally speaking, and that's to help the second and the third waves, so to speak. So a lot of what certain artists will be stating, preaching, singing is something that they've spiritually had to go through emotionally and naturally. So yes, part of the twin flame journey is directly connected to your mindset, but the other part of it you have no control over. It is a process and you have to live through it. You cannot learn unless you live through adversity. That adversity is what trains you, breaks you, and makes you. So you will look at it as a blessing in hindsight, but when you're in it, no, obviously we don't. But during that adversity, if you can use the techniques that Abraham Hicks preaches, it's going to help you through clearing your chakras, positive self-affirmation, focusing the energy back onto yourself, removing the ego connected to the victimhood of the reason this person's done something to you. On a 3D level, yes, But when you remove yourself from the situation, it's directly connected to them, not you. So you're then not owning that, because it's an old paradigm and an old way of seeing something. So by releasing it, you're physically freeing yourself, and you're realizing it's not about you. And that's where the unconditional comes from. Because then it's not, you know, if you happen to realize that a lot of things that happen that maybe twin does to you is not about you whatsoever. It's actually more about their life and where they're feeling trapped and what they're needing to directly deal with. You have then that separateness, that connection spiritually, where you have compassion for that human being, because you had to go through adversity yourself and you physically know how difficult it is. And the mindsets tell us that we can't be such. So when the masculine energy starts, that, you know, where they're going to be suppressed and smothered in their own personal energy, not through another person, and it can be, they will see that the only way for them to be spiritually free or physically free is to deal with the demons, go through the dark night of the soul, and to start saying no, to start, you know, even if it isn't in the correct alignment of the people around them, or, you know, the expectation society has had on them, the feelings they had towards themselves. That's their work. That's what they need. But it's not, it shouldn't be work. Because when we are investing, if anything, we should rephrase that word to investment, self-investment. So masculine is needing to self-invest. And when they do self-invest, not in a negative way, in a positive way, to say, right, I'm going to check my health, I'm going to check my emotions, I'm going to check my future of what I feel spiritually is correct. That is when they're going to be free. And until then, even at a 3D nature of something you physically see, they're not having a real life. So even if they are with the karmic, they're directly not having a real life, because they are spiritually not free. When you are aligned correctly to a point where you're happy internally, you physically do not need anybody. You really do not need anybody. And then it's choice that you choose to be with someone out of pure understanding that you have a connection. There is no expectations. There is no judgment. There is, it's a different level. So really disconnect and invest in self, and that is going to change the frequency. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, you know, because I do know some feminines early on, and a lot of people would have had sort of situations transpire and end. You know, to come to that place where you're totally okay and you're in your knowing of the connection, then you're free. You are free, and it will move. You're tuning into it though. Who's happy with their new soulmate? Hi, Alyssa. Laurie, who's happy with the soulmate? Your twin. Okay, let me put it this way. No. Do you know why I say no? The connection one will have with a twin is the connection they have with themselves, okay? So, you know, 9 times out of 10, unless that person has physically done the investment on themselves, they're not happy. They're hiding behind a shadow of a handbag or a direct situation that is stating, see, society, I'm happy. To be alone and to do that work and invest in yourself, even at a very short space of time. If you physically haven't given that to yourself and you haven't done the work inside yourself, no, you're not happy. And that is a truth, because if you physically need somebody to define you, to aid you, to support you, to stroke the ego, no, you are not happy. If it's a fake mask. It's poker face. It's not. So you tuning into that energy is your belief that because you are visually seeing something at a 3D, because you're hearing something at a 3D, you're not looking deeper. Deeper is that person spiritually has chosen to be with someone because they do not feel they have the courage right now through adversity that they are ready to deal with that. And I do remember when my twin and I broke up, I directly sat there and went, I'm going to die. And I'm laughing about that now because that was my feeling in my life. It was like, because my hopes, my dreams and everything was placed in this person, yet I had to learn this lesson. I had never invested in myself. I really had never invested in myself. And it was very, when you have blocks and wounds connected to your life, society tells us as feminines that we can't be powerful. Society tells us as females it's unattractive and that a man will be repelled if you are strong. Yet 3D wise, through the twin flame journey, many feminines will directly have to be divine masculines. And it's not through choice, it's through, the 3D nature of part of the journey. And masculines at times, this is the lesson they're karmically learning right now, is that the situation they're directly in is something that they needed to break down the paradigms in society, that, in life, you need to come to a place where you're okay to take the feminine energy on or the masculine energy, and that the masculine can cry, the masculine can break, they are human. Man does not mean that they are immune to these things, but their mind, that seed of what's taught them this, is very much that because they're men, they can't do these things. But it's short of us actually physically removing the sex of human beings, internally we are a soul, and our soul still experiences all of those emotions, and that does not change anything. So it's the ego and the old paradigms that tell us, I'm sorry, well, I've had some adversity and I've had a pretty crappy life, so I can't cry because I'm a man. That again is ego, and that's not a reality. The reality is, if you've had pain, if you do not address that pain, we get narcissistic energies where we are running from ourselves and we are looking to the point where we are putting on a fake mask of a facade to keep people at bay because we don't want to address the pain. So the more we realize that these things are conditionings and we actually do that work and invest in ourselves, the better relationships we're going to have with other people. And being authentic and truthful to people is very, because we're so used to people having masks on, we have become the mask. But, for a while there, I've always been a very straight shooter sort of person. And to a degree, yes, that did betray me. But in a sense, no, it didn't. Because I was still in my truth. And if then I was in my authentic truth and I came with integrity with situations, I don't have myself in that instance to blame. Because if we all at all times, if that means I have to look like I've been bashed, bruised and wounded and victimized, in their mind, that's so. In my mind, I came with authenticity. So I won't change that frequency. And if that means you have to have courage, you have to have courage. It's the way it goes. Do you know what I mean? I hope it makes sense. But it is a mindset. We do need to check our mind. It's almost like we do need to have that internal check of what we're doing. Yeah, look, in the twin flame journey, you'll find that, you'll have the connections with family. They'll be problematic. Gradually, they will actually kind of dissolve to a point where you will have the connection. You won't be on the defense. You'll take it for what it directly is, and you will be a very separate energy. And placing yourself in that, it's not to say that you didn't live that adversity, and it's not to say that the family members may or may not have done you correct. but it's about the way you're going to directly handle it. And that is freeing as well, because that is ending a cycle and closing out a chapter, and it's making more room for the new. That's what I mean by part of the journey, Cindy, because look, a lot of the reason why twins find it so bloody difficult in the journey is because you're connecting it to a traditional 3D relationship. It is not a traditional 3D relationship. They've physically triggered you. Now, in that trigger is the key to the success. You have to look at control related issues, because you believing if they're there in the 3D, they're yours. A person who you love can die and go to the other side, and you still love them unconditionally. Yet with your twin, the ego and the control and codependency related issues are saying, because you're not with them, that you don't have love and it's not real. It is Abraham Hicks mindset. It's you're physically believing that because that person is not there, they don't love you. You're not in their mind. When you're tuned in and you are vibrating at a correct frequency, and when I'm saying a correct frequency, into them without ego, you will hear truth. But it all comes back to us. Like, do you feel that someone would move hell and high water for you? Do you feel that you are worthy of love? Because it's a lesson that we have to learn, and it's usually when you have disconnected, they come back. It is a spiritual connection, and you will keep coming back because you are twins. That's why I'm saying, when you say cutting the umbilical cord, you chose this before you came here. Your lesson is inside this lifetime. These are many, many lifetimes. And this is a very karmic cycle where we're physically learning things, and we can't get off scot-free. So be it good or bad, whatever we are to learn, we're going to learn it. And you can't avoid it. There's no cutting of the umbilical cord. And that, look, you don't have to be with your twin, especially, the further down in the journey you get, you have that unconditional love for them. You don't feel the ego connected to controlling them. I mean, if they believe that they have done the work and that they feel that a soulmate or something is particularly perfect for them, that is what they're thinking at that time. And you've got to respect that. Although, if physically they haven't done the internal work, it's not going to work. So you're physically, the ego, the jealousy, or the resentment is actually not in alignment, because you're actually jealous of something that's not physically real. If they physically feel it's real and they're moving into it and it's going to stay correct, how do I put it? It's not the twins. So you don't have to be in union to trigger each other. You also don't have to be in the connection to be with each other, because you're spiritually always with each other. You are each other, but you need to do the healing work and invest in self. The more you invest in self, twin will invest in themselves. A lot of times we are triggered when they come across certain ways, but we're actually having to learn that aspect as well. But we're all fucked up. Again, it's a 3D nature. Because you are believing that, okay, when you say fucked up, what is fucked up? What's fucked up? I have to wait for, I think it was Cindy. Only you can be you. Hit me with it. What's fucked up? What do you feel about your twin is fucked up? Yeah, I love that song. Shuffling. This hair is like, it's so flat. Anyway, get over it, Yildiz. All good. But that's what attracts you to them. What falls apart can be put back together again, but be put back together again correctly. That is why we're in this. Okay, so a lot of twins that are new to the journey, and when I say new to the journey, I'm not going to say new to the journey. I'm going to say getting confused about the aspect, getting confused about the aspect that, you know, why haven't they come to you? Why haven't they called you? Why do they keep doing this to me? Again, double-sided sword, okay? It's because we are saying that that frequency is all we're entitled to. Internally speaking, you personally and spiritually feel you don't believe in the connection enough, so you've actually planted that seed to manifest. Straight out. And I know, because I have actually done this myself. That's okay. For many moments, you know, very much probably from childhood, it's a good slap in the face. But owning your energy then, you wouldn't be watching the video if you weren't. You may be hurt and an ego connected to it, but it's got nothing to do with your twin. Your frequency of your pain is something we need to nurture and hold. And we need to comfort that energy, because it's not one pain. It is literally pain upon lifetimes, pain upon 3D situations, not just connected to twin, connected to other people. You need to physically hold it like a baby, and you need to nurture it and comfort it and clear it, because it's growing up now. Do you get what I'm saying? So I could be really angry about many things that have happened. And I mean, I'm very cautious, because ultimately speaking, my twin is a human being and I have respect for them. And unless they gave me direct permission to talk about certain things, I physically wouldn't. I mean, that's respect. It's integrity. But things that have happened to me in my life, I can say, I actually directly fed that nobody would directly choose me. And my twin pointed this out to me once. He says, "What do you mean choose you?" That was me. I needed to choose me, because I hadn't actually believed that anyone would choose me. But now it's like the complete opposite. But I choose me, and that's enough. That's all I needed to do. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So it is like mirror, mirror on the wall, you know. What do you feel you are? I mean, you know, the Eminem song, "I am whoever you say I am." No, that's not true. You are whoever you say you are, because that's giving your power away, you know. That's saying, well, because people have slagged me off, call me this, call me that, that's who I am. I know who I am to the core. They have not walked in my shoes. I know who I am to the core. And I do know, I'm not stupid. I do know I do have certain people that do know me from my past that look at my videos. Hi. And they don't completely like me, but that's not about me. And that's releasing the ego. You know, that is not about me. That is about them and what they're feeling, and how things have gone in their life. And when they choose to own their power in their life, they're going to be free too. And it's not I'm there. I am so by far not there. It is a process, but I'm coming to that because I've been doing the work on myself. And on this occasion, I chose not to run, but I wasn't choosing to run from anything as per se. I was actually running from myself. So the more I did the work on myself, the more I realized, man, I'm tired of running, okay? And it's not an age, it's your mind. You are as young or as old as you want to be. If you stay in similar conditions to a point where you mentally feel nothing's going to change, it is ignorance and it's foolish, because everything changes. Now, you can work with the times and you can evolve. I said to somebody the other day, we were talking about mindsets and age and the notion of how you feel. And there's many sarcastic things that certain people have said to me over the years. You're only as young as the woman you feel. Again, that's giving your power away. You know, that's you directly feel, in order to feel youthful and worthy, you need to have somebody younger than you. Again, ego. Or that you're young because you're fit. But then when you talk to another person, your mindset is old, connected to your theories of relativity. So all of it is a health check connected to, okay, if I'm saying these things, what is it actually really meaning? You know, is it directly connected to me or is it connected to you? Theoretically, most of our statements are directly connected to our belief system and the way we observe something. If somebody triggers us, then, you know, is that about ego or is that about something they've directly said to trigger you? So being mindful during this time is, and in life in general, is crucial. Be careful to the music you're listening to, because it will, use it like a diary. I mean, people who are following me on my Facebook page are probably pissed off right now, because you can tell a theme of what I am feeling through songs. And I'm, you know, feminines at the moment have not been able to purge. We have been like, some feminines have further down in the journey, I can feel something, have been, going through the ringer. And then, okay, some feminines have even been to the point where the throat chakra is being like, no. And it's divinely guided. If you've felt that, it's because you're not trying to cause a chain of events unnecessarily, because you're still processing. So until the thoughts are stabilized, you don't want to come from a hateful perspective. I mean, I've had plenty, I could say, but it's not. And it is necessary at times where you do actually speak your truth and say, hey, honestly, what was done to me was fucking shit. It really was. And I'll say that. But I also am wise enough to know that it has benefited me and it is not a reflection on me. It's got nothing to do with me. So I'm mature enough to say that. But do we actually need to get angry about it? Yeah, maybe we do. But it's more, it's just not gonna, I don't know. I just felt guided that it was 9, and that was me personally. But then other people might, you know, get to a point where they may shoot their mouth off and be angry on videos, you know, on the twin flame videos, and stuff the 3D and doing the work, and this is what they need to do. And yeah, okay, we get that. But until they're there and until they get to that process, we may have met a twin somewhere in our life, but we do not know their life. We have no idea of their life. We don't know what their blocks are. I'll just be outlandish and say, what if they were raped? What if they were bashed at childhood? What if they were robbed? What if every person they had that they ever loved had been taken from them? What if they had to go through being broke all their life, yet they worked and everyone stole everything from them? Would we be reacting in the same way? I'm just saying, we know some of the story. We don't know the reason why they have blocks. We don't. Spiritually, we could tune into it, but you need to just leave it there. He's with the karmic for a reason. I'm going through, my karmic partner is giving me problems. I'm thinking of leaving. I miss my twin. Again, it is a choice. It's, how do I put it? This is the group I'm talking about, and I'm not placing you in a bracket, but I'm going to use this as an example. Those of you who are in the twin flame journey, you need to come to a stable place. At the moment, you're wanting assurance. You're wanting guarantee and assurance. Do you believe in yourself? That's what you should be asking yourself. Do you believe in your spiritual connection with this human being, regardless? Could you wait till the end of your life and die without reaching union? Another question. Do you feel, hi Kimberly, do you feel that if you stay there, you will regret it? Do you feel a connection any longer to the current partner, human being you're with? If no, do yourself a favor and do them a favor and resolve that issue. It's integrity. But you need to be integral to yourself. You need to be truthful to yourself. It is not about your twin. Your connection with them is a relative point of view. It's real, but until you choose it to be real and relevant, it's not going to be so. You will continue living that cycle and you will learn hard lessons. And generally speaking, if it is divinely guided, you will have a tower moment within the current relationship you're in. And that will hurt your ego as well, because then you will feel that the universe is against you, yet it's something of a seed you planted. Do you understand what I'm saying? You've already chosen, you just haven't reacted. Yeah. Okay, masculines. Well, it's the way it is, isn't it? It's like, because we're really wanting that assurance. We're really sitting there in some relationship and we're going, and it's got nothing to do with the relationship you're with. You know, you spiritually have this lesson that has to come through in the masculine, and it is divinely guided. It's be that of a friendship nature, or you end up in a relationship with them. You guys are drawn together like chalk and bloody cheese, and it's shit. But it is what it is. So the more comical you find in this as you go through the journey is that you're fighting a no-win battle. You're going to be learning these lessons, be it through your twin, through people around you, through soulmates, through karmics. You're going to learn these lessons. You hiding behind a soulmate if you don't want to do your work. And this has got nothing to do with you reaching union. If you're avoiding your work and your lessons, universe is going to come and shove you and give you a tower moment so that you have to actually energetically learn these lessons. So you can't avoid it anyway, but the more you realize this is a twin connection, you're interconnected mentally, spiritually, physically, 5D, you can't hide from it. You're placing it in a box of a standard humanized connection. It's not. It's a very different connection. Yeah. Okay. Masculine energy at the moment. They're external blocks. That's so funny. Okay. It's themselves. They're trapped, but they're not. Okay. What's around them is they're thinking a 3D nature of what is going on around them is a block, but it's not. It's a mental block. It's a mindset. Abraham Hicks. Masculines, go and Google Abraham Hicks, okay? That shit's going to help you. It's mind over matter. Guts over steel. Very, very private. Masculines are being very private because they're manifesting. They're manifesting something. They're hiding it. They know the truth. They also, you know, external to them, they're feeling there's blocks in front of them. They also feel that feminine is really got their shit together and being very private, and they don't quite know how to look at this situation. This can be other people around them as well, is that secrets are being hidden from them. Now, it's either you or another person they feel is maybe better suited to you, maybe more mature than you, than them, okay? Masculines. So they're feeling as though that you're going to start getting offers or you physically have an offer. Also, they're not knowing if you are available or not. So that is an external block that is blocking them. So some of you who are in a connection, what you might find is that due to the fact that you're in a karmic connection, or a soulmate connection, they will not come to you. And yet you're thinking, my knight in shining armor or my twin in shining armor is coming to get. It's not happening, okay? Because the lessons in this journey are what? Their free will. Oh! Single, what's your twin doing? Only you can be you. Well, what's your twin doing? Are they in a relationship? External can be the lack of communication. It can be the lack of seeing it a 3D nature, that the block is not real. These blocks or these theories are concoctions. They block you for a reason. It's because they know they're not spiritually ready. Okay, so they also need to get their health in check. They need to step into the masculine energy. They need to realize that the power is within them, not external to them. they also need to realize that money and, you know, being all rounded and perfect is a load of shit. It's not, we are not perfect, okay? None of us are. So this is what they're directly looking at. They're using these things as blocks. When they realize this and harden the bloody hell up, they will move forward from that. Internal blocks. They think they've got so many choices. Notice what I said? They think they have so many choices. They actually don't. They've already chosen. They're in the matrix. They're a rat in the wheel. They're going around in circles, okay? They're being a rat in the cage. I'm just saying. That's in their heads. They're in their heads, okay, should I take the left road? Should I take the right road? Should I take the high road? But that obstruction in that road's there. That is going to equal that. There's too many mathematical equations, okay? Masculines, if you guys are watching, life can be as easy or as hard as you want to make it. The blocks aren't real. They're all in your mind. You don't need to be perfect. You already are the king. You just need to own that. That's what it's always been. You just need to be your own personal masculine energy, your own, be proud of yourself, of who you physically and spiritually want you to be, because this is about you. And of course, your health is your energy, and you can go as fast or as slow or get stuck or be as restless as you'd like to be, because ultimately speaking, you're going around in circles, and you're going to keep doing this in 20 years' time if you actually don't change one dynamic or remove one dynamic of these huge options you feel you have. Okay, internally, you are lying to yourself. You know the truth. Your higher self has told you. Your internal blocks is your mind. So how do I put it? Take control back of your mind. Use these to create every infinite possibility of what you would like to become. Get to a point where the only person you lie to about these options or scenarios or things is yourself, okay? So feminines, don't take this personally, because ultimately this is about them processing things, okay? They're processing it and they're understanding, and they know that this is so. They know that this is what they're doing, but they've got to come to a place where they heal in that so that they can be their authentic self. For many, this could be to do with a third-party situation, you know, and that they're lying to themselves. Yes, they had many options. Internally, they're aware of this, but it was all fantasy, and that it was deceptive. So the blocks are that they know they're going to have to address these things. Now, for others, it will be that they feel they had choices and they came in not to the point of being too sure, and it was because of this, and that's why that transpired. They didn't know who was the spiritual connection. Lessons. I'll use the twin flame cards, I think. I've done the feminine side as well, so don't think you chicks or males, whoever you are in the feminine energy, you're going to get off scot-free. I tell laugh out loud. I tell him that all the time. You can lie to everyone, but don't lie to yourself. Yeah, but that's something he's got to own. Trust me, they actually don't lie to themselves. They hear it very loudly of their mind. All the single ladies. Okay. Masculine. Now, the karmic outcome or lesson they're going to learn in this situation is that there is no, they created the distraction, not another person. They created this. Hi, lady. Okay, they created this. Now they created it, they can remove it. This is their domain. What they're going to learn is where the magic is. And what they're going to learn is that they're not being vulnerable. So in being that, you can't get what you want. You get what you create, which is destructive, you know. What else do we need to know? Okay. It's impacting them. It's impacting their health. Okay, they're already dealing, what the lessons are going to be is that they didn't look at their shadow side, and that they, you know, they've got this in reverse. So the lesson is going to be, don't tune into their shadow side. Don't let their ego control them. Pride comes before a fall, right? And I'm sure we're going to have some lessons on our side. Okay, for them to have a spiritual connection through this process is what they're going to learn, but they don't see that coming. So at the moment, what they're learning is that they're not going to have a spiritual connection, because what they're trying to protect themselves from is the possibility that a spiritual connection can be very good to them. But what they're actually getting is the complete opposite. And then they're saying, well, how come I keep getting the same shit? It's because they keep creating the same cake, so they keep getting the same shit. They've got to change the recipe. And unless they change the recipe, they're going to keep getting the same outcome. And that goes for feminines as well. Remember, we hold the masculine energy. If we cannot change this frequency, we are going to keep getting the same shit. Okay, external blocks. Okay, you're giving your power away, feminines. You're feeling that the masculine has the power. You're feeling that everything is divinely guided if they can get over their blocks. Remember, it has nothing to do with the masculine. The masculine's energy is theirs, and you hold that energy as well. So any advice on the masculine side, in some shape or form, you can take from it. So, you know, to a point where you're being the strongest feminine, that you believe you can have suitors, that, you know, you're not stuck. It's fair that makes you stuck. Masculine has this energy. This energy is for you too. That your health, you know, balance your health. Be positive. Don't be restless in it. Go with the flow. I'm just saying. Yes, you may feel that they're being private and they've got a mask on, but you do too. Okay? You're feeling they're overcoming something. They're overcoming temptation. Oh, you may very well be overcoming temptation to the way you used to directly deal with the masculine. You're taming your beast. You have one too. Good old feminine. External to you, only other people are physically able to manifest. Only other people have good luck. I'm a twin, so, you know, I can't have these things. It's not real. You have faith in your journey because you choose to have faith in your journey. It goes in ebbs and flows. When you release, twin comes back. For those of you who want that, twin does come back. So you releasing the ego connected to it, 9 times out of 10, that frequency is a change in alignment, correct? And then what happens? You have communication and contact with twin. But you're being in your own energy. So that faith is something you need to focus on. You need to focus on you. The more you focus on you, everything shines. Seed of an idea. Yes, this is a month where a lot of people are very fertile. But externally to you, you're thinking that all your dreams are going to be given away. You're focusing on it. You'll manifest it. Tune out. Take your power back and start creating in your own life that of what you wish. If you wish to have dreams with a particular person, with a twin, with someone in the future, with somebody completely different, then you can. Okay, you also feeling that you giving yourself, how do I put it? You're feeling that other people can hurt you. Okay? Nobody can hurt you. Whoever, if you allow that to happen mentally, you're creating that mentally. Okay, external blocks to you. You are physically feeling that there is stagnation, okay? But that's inside yourself. Your energy inside yourself is feeling stagnant, okay? Who left a comment? Did I miss something? Oh, dick. Okay. Doubt and loss. Okay. External to you, you're feeling, no, internal, sorry. You feel that you've lost something, but you've actually gained something, but you just don't see it, okay? So try and get to a place where you release that, because it can cause illness. You know, if you keep in that frequency, you can actually get very sick. So stop tuning into the loss or the doubt or the fear that this isn't going to transpire, because you will manifest that. And that is an internal situation you directly have complete control over. Okay. Is your pride blocking you? Again, pride comes before a fall. It goes both ways. Can you perhaps look at where you have control that you're choosing not to use it? Can you look at it that maybe you had a part in something? We all have a part in everything we do. But, you know, to actually feel that we had no part in it, that again come on. There's no way. We all have something. You miss smoking with me. I've only got the e-cigarette in here. Okay, stop thinking you're a failure. You can create anything you're wanting to, feminines. And this is within the feminine energy both of us hold, okay? Masculine and feminine, we hold both energies. But for feminines, the initial runners, depending on where you are in the journey, stop tuning into fear and loss. If you're predicting the Eiffel Tower is coming down, it's going to come down, okay? So I'm just saying, can you just tune out of that? Because you're giving it far too much energy. Okay, lessons for feminine. What do we need to say? And I mean, I was just going to call this manifestation this morning. I mean, I just sat there and it's like, we've been giving our power away. What are we doing? Why are you not focusing on yourself? I mean, you know, very much my journey where I am is, it's about me. Where I am is me. I'm focusing on me. Okay, feminines. Promises that never come to be. Empty words, not living in the now. In reverse. You're going to need to learn to let it go, okay? What was relevant back then is not relevant today. And can you promise yourself something and fully commit to it? When you can commit to you, others will commit to you. But if you cannot commit to you, others will not commit to you because you have not made the commitment. You have not invested in yourself. You have not believed in yourself. You have lied to yourself. You have worn a fake mask. At times, not all the time. And it's been a massive lesson, massive, massive lesson. But you can change this, okay? Second lesson, grounding, returning to reality, coming home. Doing the work, that dreaded word, work. Yep, do the work. Just like, when is my night shining out? I'm gonna come. And trust me, I've done this, okay? So I'm not dogging it. I'm just saying we still need to, with that manifestation, apply direct action. Now, we weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouth, but the silver spoon in our mind. So we can create that and we can achieve that, but we need to deal with it, okay? What's that? So I can start taking action. The action the DM wants me to take. So I guess I will be. In what way? Just focus energy back on yourself. You know, if you feel like moving on from twin, you can move on from twin. If you feel invested in it, yet you're getting frustrated that you're holding that little candle for them, don't do that. You know, just get to a point you're focusing on your life and you're living in the now, and be open. Be open. Do what you got to do. Every choice is a choice. Even masculine, they're choosing right now. So we can say, oh, they need to choose, and that's while they're in a karmic situation. Well, they already bloody have chosen. They've chosen. So what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to stand around and wait? Yes, they will come back, because they will energetically learn, because you will be one. While you're away from your twin, think of it as an education, because you will be doing a lot of processing during that time, which is theirs is going to catch up this year from many of them. And the way you look at it will be very different. But, you know, try and gradually get back out there. And when I say get back out there, I actually mean go and see some friends, go and have a drink, you know, go hiking, do something exciting, go skydiving, go and do something that you actually want to dream and live for. And use your day like every day is the last, so that you're making the best out of your life. Well, you should. But, I mean, how can you have anyone interested in your life if you're not excited about it? So you need to live the most exciting life possible. And it's for your sake as well. The whole YOLO, I mean, we don't, in my opinion. I think we reincarnate. That's my belief system, because I have memories from before birth. But ultimately speaking, live your highest potential. If you're sitting there feeling sorry for yourself and you're blocked, well, masculines will go through this energy too. And yes, we do get to that place, and we do feel that the control is out of us. But honestly speaking, the control is not out of us. It's completely in us. We are using it as an excuse to not deal with adversity. And yes, some adversity is so bloody scary, but it's, even if you don't want to deal with it, the vice that is pushing you so tightly will make you deal with it. So we can do it two ways. We can, and it's got nothing to do with the twin. Especially mine, you know, connected to my friendships, my family, or my twin. My opinion does not count. Their opinion of their life is what should count. You know, what they believe their life is, what they believe they can create. And that's really what I would prefer them to do over looking at me, you know, then, because that again is giving your power away. It has to be something they physically believe is necessary for them. Karmic lessons for feminine. Okay, what you're going to learn, okay? This energy, what it's going to teach you. This card's in reverse. So funny. You can't go back to yesterday. Which is saying you can go back, you can go forward, you can go sideways, you can go left. Energy, time is not real. It's not. It's a clock. It's not real. Our energies can move. Now, when you move timelines, what I was meaning by timelines, ever had a deja vu? How many of you have had a deja vu? Lately, I have started having deja vus again. For me, premonition-wise, deja vu is directly linked, for me personally, especially when I recall the deja vu or the time I spent, is a time on the clock of when something has clocked over and it's starting. Especially when I remember the surrounding energies of that deja vu, which is what I have myself. Deja vu is jumping timelines. You could get to an ego state where you physically are living this very same lifetime at different frequencies at different timelines. So in theory, you are assessing mentally, energetically, physically, spiritually, many different timelines. So you can make this as long or as short or as wide or as exciting as you like. But your seed that you're planting is crucial. You're going to become braver. So this karmic cycle is going to teach you to be braver. You won't go back. None of us will go back. To learn, maybe, emotionally on an old energy. But these planets aren't letting us go back. We're going forward and up. And that's why you're going to be scared. You're thinking the past is scary. Nobody's scared of the past. We're scared of the unknown. But if you understand manifestation, you already know the seed you planted for that manifestation of creativity of what's coming in the future. So nobody's scared of the past. They're boogeymans under the bed that we take with us to remind us of the potential of what the future is that can scare us. But ultimately, we're not scared of the past. We're scared of the unknown in the future. That's the energy you need to learn. Things are going to be done the right way. That's on both sides. So you don't need to be scared, because if you do things, tune into things and react and manifest and deal with things in a correct way, the communication will be adult-like and the energy will be balanced. That's a karmic energy you guys have to learn. Any questions? To tune into your direct area or your situation or your blocks, I will put the link directly below. Most twins do it all by themselves still. Otherwise, you can book a reading and I can work with the energy. You know, when I was on my journey, I had no help. I had family turn their back on me at times. I had family tell me I was crazy. But, you know, in hindsight, I'm very grateful for that, because the things I went through, which was a mindset as well. Not your twin. Why not your twin? You won't care that they think you're crazy, because you'll know it as a reality. It's a reality. So you'll just get to a point you don't care what people think. Anytime, Giggle. I hope it helped. We're all a little bit crazy. But then wouldn't the world be a boring place if we were all the same? What do you mean, sunflower girl? Because you're not in union. Is that what you're saying? Are you working with your twin directly? Use your twin as a muse. Use their energy, switch it around. Use them as a muse and try and get it to a point where you're not psychoanalyzing it. Yeah, I know what you mean, Chris. Gauge the frequency, use your lessons and your learnings that you've had over the journey and apply it. Not because I'm in union, but because I think my destiny is ties to something and I don't know how. I've received dreams since childhood about it. It can be past life though, love. It doesn't have to be in this lifetime. I mean, I've had connections to, I've always been collecting ships and boats and oars and driftwood. Some things we're not meant to know, and that's why they're being removed from us. What do you need to directly, okay, to tune into, to meditate, okay? I'll read that in a minute, Dale. To tune into your higher self, you need to disconnect from all sound completely to hear it. When it goes quiet, it's because generally they're focused on another task if you're not energetically feeling the energy. I've astro traveled a lot, same story every single time. Then you need to write a new story. You're tuning into the worst possible outcome. Remember, not only through a premonition, but our mind is a manifester. You're manifesting it. Try not to. Disconnect right now and you'll find he'll tune into you. You're giving your power away. I don't think so, no. For me personally, when I had a memory of my life before I was born, and I kept it very quiet because I was like, nobody's going to believe me. And it was so vivid, and then it would play over in my dreams as well. It was over and over again. And then I found through my psychic gift of building it, I stumbled across a realization, and it was just this huge connection to a certain era. And I do know that in my twin flame journey, something quite tragically happened probably in the 1800s, probably 1800s, connected to a boat. And my twin passed at sea, died at sea. And the funny thing is, yeah, he doesn't actually like fish. The only thing he will eat is tuna. So I thought that was quite funny and was like, wow. Yeah, so I have had a few premonitions about that and dreams, but it's past life related. But I would collect driftwood all the time and oars, and it was like, why am I so obsessed by this? Yeah. Turned into fish bait. Any other questions before I run away at over an hour? God, nobody's going to watch this. I thought about it a few times and now I'm not fussed. Yield is the easiest way to disconnect from DM in separation. Tune into your life path. Tune in, become creative. Listen to music, meditate, keep your life busy. Become very tired before going to bed and then they won't interfere. Yeah. You can't completely disconnect. You can have a life separate. You can through choice. But you will always be interconnected and the lessons will be there. So it depends on, you know. Then you're confused. I'm telling you, we're going to do a mirror situation this month. We're each going to get a mirror and we're going to have a good old self-talk and we're going to be, okay, what are our statements about our twin? And then we're going to break it down and we're going to work together and we're going to start learning how we can actually turn that around. You want them back, so it's just not good to disconnect. That's ego. Let go. You had no control in the first place. Laws of attraction, release, and all will be. It's believing, it's not controlling. Believing and loving unconditionally is so. Controlling is repelling like fly spray. Yeah, we're going to do a mirror exercise. So we can actually sit here and do that chit chat of, okay, how does this directly affect me? What is this going on? But it goes both ways. Everything you feel your masculine is doing will directly relate to you. And it's it's a bitter pill to swallow. Because he has not got ready yet to address his reality. And when he's ready, he will address that reality. And we need to respect that. And if their reality is that that is the perfect place, then they're living the dream. If it's not authentic and they're lying to themselves, then they're living in hell. And I pray for them. Yes, we do. We swap energies. And I did go through that stage where he became quite hermetized, family orientated, yet he was quite fancy free in the beginning. And then I was looking at assets and houses and going, I don't want to be tied down. And now I've realized that I've come full 360 and I'm a bit of both. And I'm embracing both of those aspects. I'm embracing the rebellious aspect, shadow aspect of myself. At times I am a very masculine energy, and I would say, you know, I could probably intimidate some males, definitely, when I was, you know, trying to date, and that I would, because I was very, at times confident, but at the same time very masculine in the sense that I had to look after myself and I wouldn't let people walk over me. So for a while there, I did walk in masculine shoes. And then other times I'm quite introverted and family orientated, but ultimately speaking, I've got the balance of both, and I'm kind of like, I'm walking the line straight down the middle now, not right through the burning ring of fire. I'll have to do a video later, separate to this, because it's already at 1:25. It's like, wow, that's a long video. Connected to the eclipses of what's coming and the Lionsgate portal, etc. So that will be the next one. What time is it everywhere over the world? And if you feel somebody would like to watch this video, share away, guys, because it may help people. That was it. That's what's going on with the lessons at the moment. There's no straight path, Dal. There's too many collective energies. I would literally need to block it into the ones in a karmic situation, the ones that are single, the ones that are... Easiest way is for me to do collective energy, base chakra, and sacral chakra. So near the belly button, sacral, the base and the tailbone and that is base chakra, so family related areas. Family, and you know, the next one is your sacral chakra, I believe, and it's for your creativity, fertility, sex drive, etc. Money. No drama. I hope this has helped, guys. Look after yourselves, and I will do more videos, you know, as the month progresses, but I just wanted to get this in for the aspect of us manifesting, okay? Because a lot of your twin flame journey is very personalized. So you could go and look at 100 videos. The reason I do these live streams is to change and switch your mindset, because that's really what's going to help you, you know, listening to what the karmic's doing and all of that crap. Remember, spiritual connection, twin flame, you're putting it in a box of what it's not. You need to disconnect your ideals and your mindset, but until you can spiritually advance yourself to the point you're seeing beyond 3D natures and moving into that spiritual kind of mindset of the laws of attraction and situations like that, you're going to stay blocked. You're going to feel like a rat in a cage. So you're preparing. Yes, you're giving your power away. We're going to do some work sometime, Sunflower Girl. You're very angry. I just want to give you a big hug. It's okay, we've got a lot to be angry at the world these days. Don't be angry, doll. It's not going to help. And I know you're hurting, but it's not going to help. It'll just keep the cycle the same. I've had many nights crying. I've had many days where I've thought, why the fuck have I chosen this path? Why has this happened to me? Why this, why that? You need to. You probably need to release it. Yeah, because it's like you're feeling your emotions aren't okay to be owned. Just own it and purge it out. Just do a verbal diarrhea. Go and break some cups. Get pissed. And remember, I'm hugging you. I feel your pain. Okay. Love and light, guys. Bye.